Welcome to Destiny Uncut. We're
Yes.
so excited to share today with you,
Yes.
and we're going into a very important topic.
Yeah.
We'll be discussing on how family is life defining and
Yes.
how it can affect your future as
Yes.
a person and an individual.
Do you know whether you are an American or you are a Russian, you are an African? It doesn't matter your gender. It doesn't matter anything about you, your education. You are all born into a family.
Yes.
Or we are all born into families.
And we're raised by one.
Yes. You don't determine the family that you are born into, but yet that family can determine the man, the woman that you can ever become.
Yes. In fact, you can find that in life, people's greatness are tied to their families.
Yes.
And some people's misfortunes are also tied to their families. That's why this is very important conversation, because you realize that over the years, I think studies has also shown that there are families that when you come from such families, there's just it's almost certain that that person is going to become great because of the values. Because of the values the family has imbibed over the years, and because of the kind of
somebody can even say the kind of because of the connection or the connectivity within the family.
Very true.
Yes,
very true. And you will see that this has defined people's lives over the years, and that's why every time one has the opportunity to redefine life, you also want to redefine your family values. That's why it's important that we revisit some of the issues around our value system, how we were raised as an individual, and how we can actually come out if it's a negative background or pattern that has been laid. How can you come out of that as an individual and redefine your destiny?
Yes. One thing that I thought about when you were speaking is that we don't determine families that we are born into, but the family oftentimes determine the man, the woman we become. Our value system, as you said, and in the manner of speaking, our entire being. Many times we say, this is me. That's just me. I was just being myself. Many times when we say this is just me, it's just a reflection of those family connections.
Yes, the environment you
were raised in. Yes. So sometimes they say blood is thicker than water because I can't just help it. I can't just help it. I just have to be myself. And oftentimes when we say that, we refer to our origin. We refer to our fathers, our mothers, our brothers and sisters that were responsible in forming our personalities. And so many people don't understand that there is still something that they can do with their families. You see, many people have been so hurt by families that they tell themselves there's no point living anymore. Let me die. Some people have been defined. There's a song that I will listen to in the house by Inaji. I don't know the full name of the woman. She sings gospel songs. And even she got to a point and she said there's a point where the family says there is no way, there is no road, there is no door, there is no access. But here she is. If I want to sing it for those who are Yorubas, Ebi Sokwe Kosono Luke. But God has defined a way for me. Like the family says there is no way up there for me. Or when they are counting good people, great people, people that can do well, people that will do well, you shouldn't say it. In our family, we don't do well. Because one thing that I know families are very good at is defining. They want to build a box. Oftentimes when they tell us, get outside the box. And I also remember that story of Abraham in Genesis chapter 12. When God said to him, get out of your father's house, get out of your country to a new land. And there's a reason why God had to do it. Although he went with his nephew, but eventually he had to separate. Because there is a part of you that really come alive in God when you are not defined by your family, by the places where you were raised, the kind of innuendos in your home. So you are able to develop a personality with God. And so when we don't understand these kind of things, we define ourselves by our families. Don't forget, it's our families that even determine our names.
Yes.
And so, for instance, my name is Adeboyega Adedeji. The Adedeji is the family name. And so somebody can say, oh, why are you trying to do that? Nobody has ever done it in Adedeji family. Oh, why are you trying to pursue that PhD? There is no PhD holder in this family.
So more like people inherit limitations and barriers even from their families.
They inherit limitations.
Yes. So because by virtue of the family you're from and where you are from, there's certain limitations and barriers that you've inherited, certain patterns, certain trends, and they become a limiting force in people's life over the years, quietly, because sometimes people are not even aware
of what's
that they are carrying a lead over their lives because of where they are from.
Yes.
Only for them to realize down the line that I've not been able to break free from this. I'm seeing other people going, this
they
far
do
in
some
life.
Things easily.
Yes, but how come I cannot? So that's why there's a need for people to evaluate their backgrounds and find out, what are those limiting forces? What are those limitations you inherited that consciously and unconsciously have created a barrier in your life and in your destiny? Because until you break, you identify, you have to be conscious of it. So you have to investigate, find out, okay, what is it about my place and where I come from that does not allow us to actually go this far in life? And when you investigate, you want to also find out, how can I break free? And that's why today this conversation is important for a lot of people.
It's about breaking free.
You can break free.
Yes.
This limitation does not have to continue in your life. You can actually break free from them.
Yes. You can break free. You can determine your destiny. You can shape it.
Yes.
You can remold your destiny. You don't have to tell yourself it's over. Oh, it's finished. I'm finished. Oh, I wish God didn't give back to me. God didn't send me to this family. Oh, I wish I was born by my neighbor. I wish I was born by my uncle. You see, in spite of all that, there is still a place for us to, number one, appreciate that whatever the Lord does has a purpose.
Yes.
There's a purpose that God expects us to fulfill for sending us into the family. However, just like things that have strengths and weaknesses, why your family was given to you by God as a strength, a source of strength, we mustn't forget that there could be inherent weaknesses.
Yes, created by men.
Yes.
Because you see, sometimes parents unconsciously also set this limits and leads over their children. So you hear some parents, no, I can't. If I was not given that opportunity,
you can't.
I can't give that opportunity to my children. So the children that have a different destiny from their parents are not exposed.
Imagine me sometimes also telling you, oh, how much did I spend when I was in secondary school? You're spending too much on the children.
Do you know that unconsciously?
And I'm sure if you were not strong in your personality and you gave in to my suggestions, I'm sure maybe they will be going to one of the cheapest schools they can find around.
Yes. And that's why it's important that we know that we can always break free from these limitations. But you can't break free if you have not yet identified what is that thing. Because if you can't nip it in the bud and say, this is the reason why I've not been able to move forward. There are some people in their family, they start things and never finish.
Yes.
Because over the years, they've been conditioned that when things become difficult, you abandon it and you throw in the towel.
You give up.
So
it's a family trend.
It's a family trend. So you realize
My
that
grandfather
they will start,
his own.
They will start a marriage, and when it becomes difficult, they drop it off. They will start courses or start pursuing a career. When it becomes difficult, they try. So you realize that there's a cycle of disappointment in that family. The abandoned project, abandoned dreams, abandoned hopes. So when you notice that, for example, in your own family, then you want to expose yourself to another kind of conditioning that makes you start and finish.
And that may not be sourced in your family.
Yes, you have to source that elsewhere. So there must be an alternative reality for you.
Yes.
And that's what I recommend to a lot of people to do. Whatever you can't find in your family that is a limitation for you, find an alternative reality.
Especially if it is important for your destiny.
For your destiny.
You know, many
yes.
times we get so loyal with our family backgrounds, our past, and we say, no, I would rather die in my condition. I'm a good son of my family. I'm a good daughter in our family. When marriages fail and we get out of it, there's no stigma. We can marry again and again. I don't have to be the exemption.
Yeah.
I don't have to be the difference in the family. Let me blend in. That's how I show that I'm a true daughter of the son. Of the soil, daughter of the soil. I'm a true son of the soil. And then we accept mediocrity. We accept things that are below the expectations of God for our lives because we just want to be loyal to our family heritage or heritages and want to be loyal to our backgrounds.
Yes. You know, that there's something that made rounds on the internet about transgenerational patterns.
Okay.
And somebody placed a cup of dirty water on the table and a jar of clean water. And the person kept pouring into the dirty water. And as much as the person was pouring, the water was still colored.
Okay.
Until he poured onto the point where all the dirty water gave way and had a clean glass of water.
It will take time though, but that's possible.
It's possible. That's where I'm going. It might take time, but you can achieve it.
You can achieve it.
If you don't stop.
There's an external flow.
Yes.
So the family background was a flow or has created a deposit in the container.
Yes.
Or an external
you can
influence.
Introduce
the externalities.
An external force.
Maybe we can call them the externalities.
Yes.
It may not be one.
That will create the kind that your desired future.
Yes.
So that when you are handing the cup to another generation,
Yes.
it's a clean cup of water.
It's a clean cup. I wanted to even say a cleaner cup, but it can actually become a clean cup. It depends on how willing are we to make it clean indeed.
Yes.
And so the fact that your father, your mother, the people that handed over things to you were not deliberate with fixing things before you were born, before you became the man, the woman that you have become, doesn't mean you should do the same for the next generation.
Yes.
So there is a generation that must arise and say, I don't want to continue the trajectory of my forefathers. The fact that we do things this way, we think this way, doesn't mean this is the ideal. Do you know where things even get dangerous? Now, when people are born into certain religions, they tell themselves they have to die in it. And I ask myself, does it have to be?
No.
How many of us end up taking up the careers of our parents? Oh, your father is a mechanic, and your mother is a cleaner. Do you grow up to tell yourself, I want to be a cleaner. I want to go to university to study cleaning and be the best cleaner. The career of our parents, we don't always accept. But when we are born into religions, we say, oh, I was born a Christian, I am a Christian. I was born a Muslim, I am a Muslim. I was born a traditionalist, an Hindu, I am an Hindu. I was born of this or that, I am. We define ourselves by where we were born. And yet, now the Bible says, when the blind leads the blind, the two will enter into the ditch. And so, if my mother, my father didn't know better, but they picked up a religion somehow, maybe they cannot even explain to me how they stumbled into the religion. Does it mean that growing up, I must remain in that religion? If I follow them and they were blind, am I not going to enter into the same ditch? And another thought came to my mind. Imagine a mother that had gotten married, and there's a scripture that explains that. Jesus met a woman who had been into 5 relationships. And Jesus said, the man that you are with right now is not your husband. Is it not possible for that woman to have children?
Yes.
So imagine that woman being my mother. Imagine it. And she's telling me how I can have a healthy marriage. Are you saying as a son, I should be blind and deaf enough to say, I don't want to judge her, I don't want to judge her by her numerous attempts and failures in marriage. I want to listen to everything she says.
Yeah.
Do we listen to everything our parents are saying in error? Don't we tell ourselves, no, I know better? If you know better, must you then accept as a definer, so to say, of your life, the things you picked up in your family?
Yeah. You know, one of the things that I noticed that happens in family is, you know, there's this loyalty syndrome. And when I say that, I'm going to explain it. Now, usually people are loyal to their families.
Okay.
And I want to explain how that works. You were born into a family, accepted, you look like them.
Yes.
Before you know it, you behave like them. And because
And you were feeling good in those days.
Yes, you were feeling good. They raised you. You were accepted in that family. They provided for you.
Yes.
They taught you.
Yes.
You speak their language. Now, this is what loyalty does.
Okay.
Because over the years, when you want to introduce a new culture to people, it takes practice.
Okay.
And because as a child, you have practiced these things.
You have practiced the capacity to blend in.
Yes, you have practiced the capacity. In fact, they told you as a child, you are not behaving like one of us. Can't you see your elder brother?
Yeah.
Can't you see your younger sister?
Yes.
Now you have been conforming.
You have been conditioned.
You have been conditioned to conform over the years. So that has brought a loyalty syndrome. So what happens is that there's a blind spot that people usually have to their family.
Yes.
Even when things are not right, they will rather leave it.
Okay.
And not investigate. And
Everybody
not find
can be wrong,
out.
but not my
not
family.
my family.
Just like when imagine when you are carried by maybe a Uber driver or a boat driver, whatever driver that controls the app, the taxi. Sometimes, I don't want to say every time, we don't judge the Uber drivers that drive us the way we judge the other drivers on the road. They say, why is he driving like that?
Yes.
We always believe our drivers
Because we are loyal.
right. We are loyal.
So that's a loyalty syndrome.
Yes.
So what happens is that child grows to become a man. He will still not question how he was raised.
Yeah, the circumstances.
Yes. So his mom, his dad, his parents, and what happens with loyalty syndrome is that they will now expect, and unfortunately we're having a generation that is starting to question.
Okay. Is it unfortunately?
No, unfortunately for another generation.
Okay.
You were raised not to question what your parents did or did not do.
Okay, but you are confronted with children now.
But you're now confronted with children that who want to ask questions. They will now feel betrayed.
Or you want to feel maybe a sense of jealousy. Oh, I didn't do this to my parents.
I took everything in. Whatever they asked me to do,
I accept.
When they tell me no watching of TV, I simply keep quiet and I don't watch it.
Yes.
If they tell me that if you touch a man, you get pregnant, I believed
it. This time around, somebody wants to ask you, Mom, is it going to be through Bluetooth you get pregnant?
Do you understand? These ones want to ask questions. And if we're not careful, we'll keep reproducing the same errors and negative patterns and trends generation after generation. Because if we don't interrogate and investigate...
I really believe there's a place where God even expects us to interrogate things.
Yes.
See that scripture, you continue your thought line. It says, it is the glory of God to conceal a matter, but it is the glory of kings to search out every matter. What kind of people are we intending to raise in families? Are we raising men or we are raising leaders?
The mediocrity in our society today is as a result of families.
Yes.
You will see an adult man that cannot defend himself outside because he has been shut down in his home. Every time he wants to speak, he can't speak. Keep quiet. When elders are talking, you don't talk. Keep quiet and sit down.
What do you know?
What do you know?
Do you know there are people today that cannot look at you when they are talking to you?
Yes, they can't maintain eye contact because over the years they've been trained not to, they don't question it.
You don't look at an elder.
You don't look. That's disrespect, plain disrespect.
Yeah.
But today we are looking at how has these things accumulated into the person you have become.
Yes.
The limitations on your life and your destiny. Imagine someone goes for an interview and the prerequisite for getting the job is eye contact. Already he's raised not to maintain it. He has lost the job.
The family has made you unable to get that job. How many jobs would your family have prepared you for? Because many times we see people go for interviews, they come back with nay. They come back with, oh, we'll get back to you. And then we start thinking, oh, maybe the university didn't do a good job. Maybe the economy is not good. Economy is not that bad that you can't find a job if you were prepared for the jobs.
Do you know there's some families where once they miss an opportunity once or twice, they don't have perseverance. They can't stay on something.
In fact, there is no second chance. There are fathers that you missed an exam, that's it.
That's
They're
it.
not going to school again.
And that over time has conditioned the children that if I attempt something once
And I don't get
I stop it. I close the door completely. It means I can never get it. But how has that affected you as an adult? How has that shaped your destiny? Now look at your life. Look at all the limitations around you. Are you going to sit down today now and investigate? What can I do differently? What is the alternative reality I can plug into and quickly address this before it destroys me?
What are the alternative realities? You know, this is the second time that you mentioned that alternative reality. So the family background is the first reality, or we can say the primary reality.
Yes.
The alternative reality is anything else that can help you to break free from the limitation, the stronghold of the family. And so when we talk about family causes, family attitudes, family behavior patterns, these are things that can limit the effectiveness, the growth of anybody. And sometimes people who have gone to school, people who have even become spiritual, who have decided to seek for knowledge of God, to seek for how to relate with God, you still see many people still struggling, and they cannot still understand that there could be a link between their current struggles and where they came from.
Yeah, their family background.
And you know, oftentimes when we think of the family background, we think of, oh, maybe there's a witch or there's an enemy somewhere that is affecting me, that is mounting pressure on me, that is preventing me from going.
We want to always, throw everything into the spiritual bucket.
Yeah, not just the spiritual, the evil world.
Yes.
Those who hate us. But I am seeing a possibility where you could be born into the house of a pastor and you could have been raised up as a pastor's son or pastor's child. And in the long run, you have emerged in life, and there are a lot of issues with you.
Yes.
So this one has nothing, and maybe you were not even born into a polygamous or whatever background, or in that kind of community setup that makes people to be envious of one another, jealous to the point that they start attacking each other or one another. You are even born in an estate. You are born in your father's house alone. You guys were raised up in a decent environment. You see, in that descent, or in the midst of the decency, there are still inherent weaknesses that may come up in the future to hold anyone down. And so, let's take, for instance, in your own father's house, you were born in a gated house, gated environment, you don't go out. You don't go out. So, the only people you can interact with are your family members.
Yes.
So, when you are with other people, you feel almost like you are crowded. In a normal space, you feel crowded. The only time you feel okay is when with your siblings. And you think you are okay.
It's an issue that needs to be dealt with.
Yeah.
Because we are having dysfunctional adults these days.
Dysfunctional
adults that are still thinking like children, that are still being treated as children, and people that cannot speak for themselves, defend themselves, operate in a social space comfortably. They would rather hide and be in the background because that's what they've been taught to do and be over the years.
Their capacity to be social, their emotional intelligence has not been developed.
Yes, and you
can't give what you don't have.
You can't give what you don't have. That's where I want to go to. There are some temperaments. Now, I want to go to temperaments a little bit. Okay. Now, there are temperaments that raised you that you are not.
You are not.
For example, if you are raised by a melancholy mother,
okay,
and probably a phlegmatic father,
That's a nice combination.
And you are now, within your core, you are a sanguine.
Okay.
You can't give expression to your sanguine with a flag mother that does not understand that this is my child.
Imagine the father, the flag father looking at you like, are you all right? What's the excitement all about?
Where did you get this from? In our family, we are quiet, cool. So when you say you want to study mass communication, for example, they're like, no, you either become a doctor like your father or a lawyer like your mother.
Or an engineer, Do you
understand?
Will be very nice.
Their career choice is as a result of their personality. Now, you know that you have gotten that law degree and you are not happy with it. You have to look for an alternative reality.
Yes.
Or else you will continue. You can't live another man's life.
And you
are living once.
Imagine a lion that is struggling in the water with the fish. You can't win.
You can't win.
And that's why many people can't win. God did not make a mistake in your making. We can't win because the strength that ought to have been developed over time had been buried,
subdued.
Peer pressure, not just outside, not just friends, among friends, in the family.
In the family, yes.
Your siblings telling you are too young to do that. You are too young to interact. Keep quiet. When we are talking, you keep quiet.
And then
they don't allow you to go out. And they tell you when they are talking, you keep quiet, and they are always talking. That means you were raised up being quiet. Why are you now noticing? Have you not noticed that you have been struggling to communicate?
Yes.
You wish, didn't they know by looking at me what I was trying to do? Don't forget, in those days, because your siblings have told you to keep quiet when we were talking, when your elders are talking, keep quiet, you felt you could communicate by keeping quiet with your facial expressions. And then you expect everyone in life to always understand your facial expression. Somebody's like, my siblings know that when I'm looking like this, I am furious. And then you are looking like this in public and somebody is like, are you all right? Have you eaten today? So people are misinterpreting you. The only thing you could do is to use body language to talk. Not everyone can connect with that. Yes. How much of influence would you have in your working place, in your groups, in your association, wherever you are, with those kind of temperaments?
Exactly. And what I want to say is, many people are struggling. Some people will look at what we're doing today, this conversation, and I'm like, that's me. I see myself doing that. But I want to ask you, why are you not doing it?
Yeah, nobody does it in our family. You show on the YouTube. You show on the YouTube.
It becomes a problem. It becomes, but this is
your elder brother will call you and say, what are you doing there? The John says don't do this.
But this is what gives you joy. So when there's a yearning in your inside for an expression, don't kill it. Somebody often said that when we become adults and we have gotten the basic necessities of life, the next thing we yearn for is our childhood dreams. We want to become that person that we have always dreamed.
I can believe that Donald Trump had a childhood dream of being the president.
And he has been pursuing that.
Yes.
So that you must chase.
Do you know people never really abandon their childhood dreams?
People don't.
They could die without fulfilling it, but they never abandon it.
Yes. So people don't abandon their childhood dream because that's what gives them joy. So you must chase after the things that make you excited, that gives you joy.
But look at the childhood dreams. If we go there, we've left the emotional intelligence area now. Childhood dreams are childhood dreams because of families. What's a dream? For most people, dreams are things that you see yourself doing that you have never done in real life. So dreams are childhood. Look at when Joseph had a dream.
Yes.
Do you know it was a childhood dream?
That has never happened in his family before.
Who was against it?
His brothers.
In the family. Just say his family.
Family.
You could say, his parents were not against it, but there was a point the father even told you, am I also going to be part of this?
To bow to you.
So that's to let you know that even your father, your mother does not want to bow. Even if the dream is that they should bow, They don't want to bow. If your father that loves you, your mother that loves you doesn't want to bow, is it your elder brother or your younger brother that will bow? So people don't like bowing. So your childhood dream is a dream because your family never made you to see a need to pursue it. It wouldn't be a childhood dream if at that time you had it, you had the opportunity
You
to
were
pursue it.
supported.
If you were supported, it would no more be a childhood dream.
It would become a
It would have
reality.
been a reality. So
Yes.
childhood dreams are often things that we yearn to do, life we yearn to live, that family does not give us opportunity to do it for many reasons. Now, are you going to die without fulfilling your childhood dreams? That's the question that somebody should be asking now. Am I going to die without fulfilling my childhood dreams? Am I going to keep being loyal to my family? Oh, I have to do it only after my elderly ones have done it. I have to do it only when they approve I should do it.
Yeah.
I have to do it when I have sought the approval and this and that. My mother is thinking that maybe that thing will expose me too much. But in your heart, you know this is what God would have you do. So many times we struggle because of our sentiment and loyalty to these things. But you need to come out. Like a song that says, I'm coming out of my comfort zone.
Yes, families are actually comfort zones for us because we feel accepted, you feel loved, you feel as if yes, this is it's your comfort zone.
We feel secure when we do nothing. When we do nothing and nothing, the family will support us.
Yes,
they'll keep sending
it's
money.
like your family is that place where you can't go wrong. You can't do wrong. Because they have conditioned you.
Yes.
But it's time now for us to start looking at ourselves.
Yes.
Can you look hard for yourself this year? Can you say to yourself, I need to go farther than where I am?
I need to go farther.
Can you start telling yourself, I need to investigate the reason why I'm being held down and I can't pursue my dreams. I can't become all that I want to be.
Yes.
And I want to stop looking at what others are doing and actually do my own thing.
I want to stop doing family. Yes, I want to start doing me.
Yes. And guess what? Great people.
Yes.
Are those that their family celebrate.
I'm like, I've hardly had anybody become great because of family.
Yes. But people that amount to nothing are tolerated.
Yes.
So do you want to be tolerated or celebrated?
Let me ask you a question. My beloved, do you know the younger brother of Donald Trump?
No.
The elder brother?
No.
Have you seen the father and the mother?
No.
What about the cousin and the uncle?
No.
So in the long run, when you go from Donald Trump, you go to Elon Musk. Let's say you even go to South Africa, Trevor Noah, the comedian. Do you know anybody in his family?
No.
Apart from the father, you know is an outcast.
Yes.
So really, successful people, whether you call them president, head of state, or you call them business tycoons, or like the founder of Facebook, Instagram, all those people, do you know their families? So you cannot be limited by your family. You can't define your essence, your pursuit, the scope of your capacity by your family. God may originally expect you to be the one. I'm talking about you, to be that person that will bring glory to the family.
Yes.
But you are telling yourself, since no glory has come to my family, let me sit down and look. And so generations upon generations, people keep dying in the family without breaking through. It is your turn to break through. Yes. And that is what we are encouraging you to do. Be the first in your family to do that PhD. Be the first in your family to start that kind of business. Be the first in your family to even start a church. Be the first in your family to start the NGO. Be the first in your family to start that kind of career.
Yeah.
You can even become a politician. Don't be so fixated on the fact that nobody in your family had ever done it. Guess what? There are elements of temperament in your family that can succeed in politics. It's just that they've never gone into it.
Yes.
You know, when I look at our grandmas now, you know, what I always tell myself is, had they had gone into politics, they would have succeeded. It doesn't matter what people around them could have thought, but these people have capacity to connect. They have capacity to build bridges and to do a lot. The people that are doing well in politics are not better than them. So if I choose now to go into politics and somebody's like, what does he have to offer? Guess what? I have a lot to draw from. And the fact that the people I'm drawing from didn't do it doesn't mean I can't do it. What I'm trying to say is there are strengths, potentials already in your family. We're not saying everything about your family is bad. That's why I said at the beginning that your strength, family has both strength and weaknesses. Just like the body that we have has strength and inherent weaknesses. God expects you to use the strength of your family, and then He doesn't expect you to be limited by the weaknesses of your family. And so there are capacities that are locked up in your heritage. There are things that you do easily because your forefather did it, your grandmother did it, and you too can do it. They couldn't apply it on productive and profitable ventures, but you can. Don't tell yourself, nobody had ever become an aeronautic engineer in our family. But if your forefathers had the capacity to bring things together, complex matters, then that means the resources is already there.
Yes.
You now have to channel the family heritage. I'm using that word carefully. The family heritage for productive ventures.
Yes, that's very important. And like we said before, this it's important that you understand that there are strengths in your family.
Strength.
There are traits your family has given to you that is needed for your future.
Yes.
But what you should do is maximize, amplify those strengths.
Yes.
And don't let your weaknesses become a limitation. What you should do with your weaknesses, in the word of a wise woman, is outsource them. Don't outsource them.
Okay.
That's why you need alternative realities. Don't now say, because my family has these weaknesses, I'm now down and out.
We don't know how to keep or multiply money. You can learn from it.
Yes.
You can learn from other people.
Alternative realities. And there's nobody in my family that been happily married for 25 years. Look for alternative realities. Look for marriages that have been on for 40 years, 30 years, and they are doing
then your
very
25
well.
years becomes a child's play.
Yes. So you must have a picture of an alternative that you can outsource the weakness of your family to, that will now bring you to a place of solid strength.
Honestly, brings you to a place of perfection.
Yes. So it's not enough to say, oh, I wish I was not born into the family. You know, younger people will say, I wish Dangote was my father, or Todola is my father. There are issues in Dangote's family too. And all of that. But you are born into a family. Whether your family is a Koro family or Musa family, that family has great strength.
Great strength.
Great strength. And we're not here to downplay those strengths. But what we're saying is that those weaknesses, use the strength, then outsource the weaknesses. Look for alternative realities that bring
I'm imagining a man that is not born by Dangote, but who chooses to learn from Dangote. Yes. You don't have to be born into their family to learn
from them.
Yes.
True. All right. It's been an exciting conversation. Gisting you and talking to you and helping you see the realities of life and how our destinies, how it can all come to the place of perfection. I believe that you have gleaned a lot of wisdom in today's episode, and I want you to use it. Don't just listen in. Just use it. Maximize it. Make best use of it.
I've been blessed with the company of my beloved wife, Lara Adedeji. Haven't you enjoyed yourself today?
Yes, it's been an exciting one.
Yeah, and we will bring you another interesting episode in the next edition. Till then, stay strong, stay adventurous. You can do it if you think enough that you can do it. God bless you.
Amen.
See you.